Hey guys, welcome to the first official show of the second half of the MLB season. I'm your sexy and savory host, Joe. Oh, wait, must have spent a little too much time watching Joe D'Amico host this show. But I'm Jeff Michaels. Some of you guys may know me as JM Sports, and I'll be your host for today. We want to wish Joe and, of course, Dion well on their vacation away. They'll be back with you with more videos on August 1st. But that doesn't mean that baseball stops in the meantime. And I'm lucky enough to be able to temporarily fill in for today. And I'm honored to be joined by a heck of a panel today in Ronald Cabang and the one, the only Jesse Schule. Gentlemen, glad to be here with you. Since we haven't had a chance to do the show in a couple of days, Ronald, how was your All-Star break?
It was actually pretty good as far as just being able to rest and not have to worry about capping these MLB games and looking at these numbers and stats all day. So it was pretty relaxing. Got a chance to take my boys out and do some basketball practice and stuff like that. So, just 3 days of staying away from MLB has been a good sort of a stress reliever, if I could say.
Yeah, absolutely. Understand completely. Jesse, happy Thursday to you. How was your break?
Well, I wish I could say the same as Ronald, but dog days of summer for me, it's status quo. I had a five-star soccer play on Tuesday, managed to hit it as an underdog, winning outright 2-0. So was happy about that. But really, Wednesday was my only day off, and it was short-lived. I wish there was more, but I'm right back at it today, and really, I'm happy to hit the ground running again.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Jesse's one of those guys to take advantage of over on that SportsMemo site. We're running that 50% off deal, all those packages over $25. Jesse's taking advantage of those dog days this summer, and there's still plenty of baseball to benefit off of with those. But I'm glad to spend my Thursday afternoon with you guys, and there may be limited action, but we got 3 night games to take a look at on the roundtable games. First of which starts with that New York Yankees matchup. Game 2, they're taking on Houston at Astros Stadium. And we're looking at 2 of the best teams in the American League. Yankees sent Domingo Germán to the mound for his first start this season. And after posting a 4.58 ERA last year in 22 appearances, he looks to lead the best offense, what was potentially the best offense in baseball out there. They led the league in runs, home runs, slugging percentage, and RBIs. They're taking on one of the best pitching staffs in baseball that's been the best opposing in batting average, slugging percentage, and OPS. Send Luis Garcia to the mound, comes into the outing with a 3.55 ERA on the year, and he's posted a 5.04 ERA at home, but Houston's still 6-2 in his home starts. Houston's won 4 out of the last 6 against the Yankees, but let's start with Jesse Schule and see what he's got to say about this matchup.
Well, Jeff, I got to say, normally I do make it a policy to avoid doubleheaders. So I just want to let everybody know I'm not going to be playing this game myself. I will give out a lean, though. And what I'm looking at here is currently the Yankees are losing game 1. If the Yankees do end up losing game 1, I would be more inclined to want to take them in game 2. You mentioned Garcia and his ERA over 5 at home. That is a slight concern, even though they're getting the wins, but are they getting the wins against the best team in baseball? The Yankees are still the best team in baseball, and they're a dog here in this game. And you got Domingo Germán coming back from an injury. And I had a look at his rehab starts in the minors. In his first 3 starts, he posted a 0.7 ERA, 0.48 WHIP. In one of those starts, he threw 39 of 49 pitches as strikes. His last start, he tossed 6 scoreless innings in AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Now, I must admit, full disclosure, I have no idea where Scranton Wilkes-Barre is, but 6 scoreless innings, even at AAA, is pretty good. I like Germán to come here and have a decent outing in his first game back. I like the Yankees as a dog, as a strong lean, I would say.
Yeah, that's, does it concern you all, Jesse, that they've won 5 straight? Houston's won 5 straight starts for Garcia. Does that put any doubt into it?
How many of those starts were against the Yankees?
Fair enough. How about you, Rob? What do you got to add to it?
Yeah, for me, it's always tough when you have a pitcher like Herman who's coming into his first start of the season. One thing that I wanted to focus on was, the Astros and Luis Garcia, since we do have data on him, right? So yeah, I mean, to me, I looked at how he does in home favorite situations. Here, 6-1 to the over, allowing 3 runs versus 3.71 runs of support from his bats in the first 5 innings. And that's a pretty decent sample size, 7 starts here in those spots. Then you got Herman, who struggled last year with the squad with the Yankees. I know, Jesse mentioned some of the good numbers he had in AAA, but the Astros can come in here and touch him up, in my opinion, especially in the first 5 innings. To me, I would look towards the first 5 over in this one, just based off of him coming back off a long layoff against a tough Astro squad here, and then Luis Garcia just being a first 5 over trend in that spot for as a home favorite. So to me, I haven't bet this one at this point yet, but I was looking towards that first 5 over.
Yeah, I can't argue any of those points there. Let me ask you, Ron. So we were talking before you jumped in, Jesse and I don't know if you caught the tail end of it, but do you think experience in doubleheaders means anything to it? I mean, we looked since 2018, the Yankees have played 25 doubleheaders. Houston's played 7. Think that comes into being able to play 2 games in one day and being able to put up the production through 2 full games?
As far as playing in doubleheaders, I don't. That's the hardest part about doubleheaders, because you don't really know what type of lineup they're gonna throw out there in the second game, and sometimes it really depends on from the manager standpoint. Do they want to, if they win or lose the first game, who are they gonna throw out? Are they gonna try to win twice in a row, or kind of give their stars an opportunity to rest that second game? As well as the pitch. Who did they throw out there as far as the bullpen wise, right? Like, did their starter go deep into the game? There's just so many things to think about, but both of these teams are really deep in regards to their bats and pitching. So to me, in this specific matchup going into doubleheaders, it's really tough to really place a bet without knowing who's going to be out there and what happened in the previous game.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I'm speaking for myself or potentially Jesse too, but that's a good reason, a good majority of the reason of why I stay away from those doubleheader games as well. So I think you hit the nail on the head, guys. But hey, game 2, we're headed to another doubleheader for you. Looks to be what's on the card for tonight. But we have Detroit headed out to Oakland, taking on the Athletics in the Coliseum. And while Detroit was the favorite in the early game, they're at plus 130. Oakland's at minus 160 with a total of 7. And Detroit's got Garrett Hill on the mound, who's making just his 3rd start this season. And he takes on Oakland and Frankie Montas. And Oakland's the dog for the opener, but now they find themselves as a favorite with Montas on the mound. He's posted an ERA of 3.17. Yet he's just 3-9, and the team's just 3-14 in his 17 starts, winning just 1 of his 11 home starts on the year, despite his 2.55 ERA. Detroit ended the first half losing 8 of their last 9 games, and they're currently 37-55, which puts them in 4th place in that AL Central, 12 games behind Minnesota. But Oakland's in a similar situation, yet finding themselves in a slightly more difficult AL West. Puts them 28 games back of Houston for the division lead and 18 games out of the wild card. But, let's head around first and see what Ronald Cabang's got to say about this American League doubleheader matchup again.
Yeah, with this one here, I mean, we just talked about doubleheaders and things like that and the depth of teams, and I think both of these teams here, they don't have that same depth, especially with the from the bat perspective. Both of these teams really they don't get a lot of run support for their pitchers, especially in these spots where the Tigers are facing a righty on the road, and then the A's are facing a righty at home. Both of these teams in those spots batting under 200 and scoring less than 2.5 runs per game. And just looking from a starter perspective, when Frankie Montas starts at home, the A's are 10-1 this season to the under in those spots. Interestingly enough, I'm focusing on the total more so than anything right now. But when when Frankie Montas starts, the A's are also 1-10 straight up on the full game money line as well. So that's another interesting thing to note. Garrett Hill, he's only had 2 games under his belt this season. Both games went to the under. So for me, my best look for this one is that full game under 7. I just don't think either of these teams are going to put up runs to support their pitchers here.
Yeah, it definitely caught my attention. I was taking a peek at it too. Montas has 3 straight 1-2 losses, and the fourth was a 1-5 loss. One run of run support, and 4 straight starts out there. But let's see what Jesse's got to add to this one for us.
Well, I'm looking at this game, and I think I'm seeing it exactly the same way Ronald is seeing it, but I'm coming up with a different conclusion. Oakland, they have the worst home record in baseball. I think Ronald mentioned that even though Montas has pitched well at home, they haven't won the games that he's pitched. And the price is just jumping off the page to me. How could Oakland, with their record, be such a favorite? Now, I know the guy on the other side, Garrett Hill, 26-year-old rookie, got rocked in his last start. So you give the pitching advantage to Oakland. I'll concede that point. However, Hill, he was pretty solid in his debut. 6 innings, 1 run, 2 hits against Cleveland. That's not bad. I mean, so he's capable, and he's facing an Oakland lineup that's just not very good. I'll give a shout out to Ralph Michaels, who shared some interesting statistics about teams coming out of the All-Star break. And last year, the Tigers, I believe they were 12-4 against the spread in their first 16 games after the All-Star break. So I'm looking at Detroit as a run line dog here. Oakland overvalued. Detroit's got more wins on the road than Oakland has at home. Detroit's got a better record overall, albeit not that great still, but just on a value play, as much as I don't like playing doubleheaders, this is one I'd seriously consider.
Yeah, that they need a big turnaround in a division that they could, still potentially fight back after losing 8 of the last 9. Seems like a good one to me, and find it interesting again with the doubleheaders. This one's an odd matchup too, that Detroit's played 26 doubleheaders since 2018, and Oakland's only played 10. So we see what that experience looks like in this one as well. But hey, for the third game, guys, look at this. We have a game that's not a doubleheader tonight, and we got the San Francisco Giants headed out to LA to take on the Dodgers. And 2 of the top 3 NL West teams face off at Dodger Stadium tonight as San Fran takes on the Dodgers. Dodgers look to start the second half of the season with the best record in the NL at 60-30. And they put Mitch White on the mound, who's posted a 4.2 ERA this season. But the Dodgers are 2-1 in his last 3 outings. San Francisco's 3rd in the division, but they have a potential Cy Young candidate in Carlos Rodon on the mound with his 2.66 ERA. But he takes on a Dodgers team that is among the league leaders in nearly every statistical category. But yet San Fran's won 3 straight between the 2 teams. So let's see what the guys have to say about this one. Jesse, you want to get us started?
Sure. So San Francisco was struggling there a while back, a couple weeks ago, but they went into the All-Star break as winners of 5 of their last 6. That's not as good as the Dodgers, though, who won 11 of 12 prior to the All-Star break. Are the Dodgers due for a letdown? I think they are. I mean, you often see these teams that the best teams in baseball. They have every team has to have its rut that it gets into, and coming out of the All-Star break, especially a team loaded with All-Stars, could be due for a letdown. The Dodgers last year were 5-10 against the spread in 15 games post All-Star break in their first 15 games. So that gives you an indication of perhaps a potential letdown. But really what I'm looking at here is the pitching matchup. What I like the most about this game, Carlos Rodon. The Dodgers lineup against Rodon, batting a combined 0.80 over a combined 71 at-bats. That's 8 hits and 17 strikeouts, more than double the strikeouts to hits. I think Rodon's the better pitcher. I think he's good enough to keep this game close. I'll go with the Giants as the underdog here.
Yeah, it makes sense. I can't argue that. They've struggled a little bit to start the series, but I think you made some valid points. Ron, what do you got to add to it?
Hey Jesse, we can't go without a show without going on opposite sides. I'm actually looking towards the Dodgers way here. I think to me the price really just steamed way too low. I think they opened up at what -160. It's at -120 now. It's hard to not take the Dodgers at a line like this, especially when the Giants struggle against righties so far this season, batting just 215 against righties on the road, scoring a full run less than they do against lefties in that spot. The Giants they're also 2-9 on the full game money line so far this season as road dogs versus starting right-handed pitchers, being outscored 5.18 runs per game to 3.55 runs per game in that 11-game sample size. And just looking at Rodon's support in the games that he's started, he's only getting about a 3.4 run support in I think games on the road, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, games on the road here. So that to me, he's just not getting a lot of run support. Dodgers at a price like this, in a spot where the Giants aren't successful, 2-9 full game money line. I would take the Dodgers here at a cheap price.
Yeah, it's definitely a big shift in price from this morning. But so I do got one follow-up for you there, Ron. It caught my attention. Mitch White in his last 4 starts with 8 or more days of rest, the team is 0-4. Now, I'm not just talking Mitch White specifically, but what kind of mentality does it change? Coming out of the All-Star break, we enjoy the extra couple days of rest, but
yeah,
really changes the mentality for a player. You think that takes effect?
Yeah, I mean, I think it does. I think with all pitchers, especially if they have a consistent starting rotation, right, and they always have that consistent 5-6 days of rest for them. If they get off, and that's just for any pitcher really, when they get off of that routine and that rhythm, that could throw them off. To me, I just that this is just a spot play that I consistently see that the Giants don't play well in those spots. Rodon doesn't get the run support for some reason when he pitches. And on the other side, you mentioned the 0-4, when he gets that extra rest. I think the extra rest thing, like I said earlier, is really with a lot of the pitchers, right? That just that rhythm that they mess up, it messes up their I think it's called circadian rhythm. That's what happens with a lot of pitchers here. And I would tend to lean towards a lot of pitchers having struggling records in similar situations. So that's the way that I was looking at it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And I guess if you're going to have a team back you up offensively, it's going to be, you're going to want a team like the Dodgers behind you too. So, hey, makes sense. But, guys, let's change gears a little bit, the most that we can with the games that we got going tonight. But this session, everybody loves, the best bets. We take a look at props, totals, sides, whatever we got for the 3 nightcaps. And, the guys can fill you into on what they got over on the premium site over there on SportsMemo. But I got the mic. I'll take the mic. I'm going to run with the gun and take the first one here for you. And my best bet, I'm taking a look at a K prop for tonight. And I like Mitch White for the Dodgers going over 4.5 strikeouts tonight against the Giants. Mitch White hasn't racked up a super high strikeout total this year, but he's getting plus money at 4.5, and he's been noticeably better at home than he has on the road. In Dodger Stadium, he's striking out over 10.8 batters per 9 innings, and his starts have grown increasingly longer on this as the season's progressed. He's pitched extremely well against the division, shown by his 0.63 ERA, and San Francisco's offense has struggled in terms of strikeouts, especially on the road. In their last 10 games on the road going into the All-Star break, they struck out over 10 times per game. The only team that struck out more than that over that span was the Angels. So I like Mitch White. It's staying out there at least 5 innings and staying at that 1 strikeout per inning run, racking up at least 5 against the Giants tonight. So I like Mitch White getting that plus money. But next, let's take a look. Let's hear what Ronald Cabang's got for you in tonight's action and over there on the premium site on SportsMemo for you guys to check out what the deals we got going on.
Yeah, I mean, as far as my best bet today, I mentioned it earlier with the Tigers and A's. I like that full game under 7. I just don't think either of these teams are going to be able to put runs against each other, regardless regardless of who's on the mound here, especially if the pitcher is a right-handed pitcher. So to me, that's my best bet of the show today. As far as what I have on the premium side, I'm gonna make that a premium play, and I might have one or two more plays as well on the WNBA side. And I did see that in the chat here, Bill McDonald asking about the Atlanta Dream game over. That is the way that I'm looking as well, Bill. So if that is helpful in any way, hopefully that helps you. But yeah, so that's my best bet for today. The full game under 7.
I like it. I like it. Jesse, how about you? What do you got for your best bet action this evening?
All right, so I am looking at that Giants-Dodgers game, and you folks mentioned the pitchers off additional rest. So the thing I'll point out about that stat when you see pitchers that have struggled on added rest, that's usually applying to a pitcher who's been skipped in the rotation, or he's a few rainouts of a couple rainouts in a row, and the rest has been extended. And then that pitcher is then facing a lineup that hasn't been out of rhythm. That lineup has been continuing to play every day. And then that pitcher faces that lineup and he's out of whack. The lineup isn't. So now, coming out of the All-Star break, the hitters have also had days off. So they're out of rhythm. So I kind of think the rest is going to hurt the batters more than the pitchers. I mean, the pitchers are used to pitching every 5-6 days. The other guys, the position players, they're used to playing every day. I think that's an advantage to the pitchers. What I'm looking at for my best bet is I got a prop bet on Mookie Betts under 1.5 total bases. I did mention Rodon and his record against the Dodgers, the lineup hitting a combined 0.80 over 71 at bats. Well, a lot of that is Mookie Betts, who's 1 for 17 lifetime versus Rodon with 4 strikeouts. So I think it's great value under 1.5 total bases. It is juiced up a bit heavy. It's a price of -160 at Bet365, but I think that's a solid play and it should pay out a winner.
Sounds like that coming out of the extra rest stat that Jesse gave us is something that seems to benefit all of us. Benefits the pitcher, does my strikeout, hurts the batter, it helps the total, right?
Only if I'm right about it.
Hey, only time will tell. But, guys, I do want to give an extra shout out to everybody behind the scenes. Chris giving me an extra hand, helping me host the first show. But, guys, reminder, Jesse, Ronald, myself, all the other guys over at SportsMemo got some great appreciation deals going on, like the one scrolling down below me. But all packages, $25 or higher, are marked down 50% for the upcoming days here at SportsMemo too. So you can get any of these guys that we got here with you today or any of the other guys. We got 3 best bets for you today, but we got plenty other options for you to be able to cash in on as the weekend rolls around over on SportsMemo. So hopefully these best bets and these rundowns on tonight's nightcap give you a little information to be able to go win some money as we roll into a Friday. But guys, I want to say thank you for doing it with me, and thank you to everybody else that helped us out. And thanks for watching, guys. Here's to the second half of MLB.